find that problematic because it flies in the face of a lot of the academic research that has been trickling in over the years. Suze Orman is, of all the gurus, I probably like her the most. She is the most in line with mainstream financial consensus. She's the only CFP of the bunch. She was the CFP. I don't know if she still holds her CFP credentials, but she was the CFP through Merrill Lynch at one point. And so I think that explains her embrace of the 4% rule. She, I think, has even downgraded it to the 3% rule. She believes that tax rates, even 10 years from now, are likely to skyrocket. So she's a huge fan of Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, and Roth conversions. The only real bone I have to pick with her is her sweeping condemnation of cash value life insurance. And historically, she's been really down on annuities. I think she is coming around on annuities, some types of annuities, certainly not variable annuities. So, Suze Orman is probably the one I'm most sympathetic to. But I think that anytime you have one size fits all, unnuanced critiques and condemnations and vilifications of entire, segments of products like cash value life insurance and to some extent annuities, that I find that problematic because it flies in the face of a lot of the academic research that has been trickling in over the years that really, particularly that Ernst & Young study that was done recently. I know that the White Coat Investor had some things to say about that, but the Ernst & Young study was very clear that if you use cash value life insurance as a volatility buffer in retirement, in other words, in the year following a down year in the stock market, you live out of your cash value life insurance. That gives your stock market portfolio a chance to recover before you take further distributions. And that act alone will double your sustainable withdrawal rate on your stock market portfolio, and with a 95% likelihood that your money lasts through life expectancy. So these are the types of, when you make a sweeping condemnation of a certain financial product, then you miss out on these types of applications because you had to dispense that information in a one-size-fits-all fashion. And so you didn't have the luxury of nuance. You couldn't really explore these little niches where these products seem to work really well.
What is your opinion on financial influencers giving advice out on TikTok?
Well, I try to not paint everything with the same broad brush. I think I'm going to evaluate them based on the merits of their advice. And I try not to paint all of these gurus with the same broad brush. There's a reason why I only picked five gurus for my book. There were a couple people, the White Coat Investor came close to make it into my book, but I just didn't want to give him a platform. He and I have disagreed on so many different issues over the years. So I tend to want to approach each one of these TikTokers on the merits of their advice. Generally, I'm the type of guy that says which combination of approaches will yield the greatest result over time. And generally, my feeling is the one with the highest success rate with the lowest hassle factor is stock market investing. Putting your money in an index fund or a fund that is largely composed of indexes and adopting a set it and forget it approach. Generally, I think that yields the best results over time. And so generally, I'm going to sort of harmonize with those types of people that dispense those types of, that type of advice, which isn't to say that there aren't other ways to skin the cat. But generally, I think that when people start to slam the stock market approach and say, for example, like Grant Cardone, you should take all of your money out of your 401k, take the surrender, to pay the penalty, and put all of your money into the Grant Cardone real estate fund. I think that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. And so I think that generally I know and have observed what works over time and what's time tested. And those are the types of, philosophies that I tend to embrace. And to the extent that people depart from that, I think I call them out, when I think they're acting in egregiously bad ways.
Interesting.